The movie begins with Kaya preparing breakfast for her brother. Kit Kit is upset and sad because he misses their mother who passed away a year ago. Kaya consoles him and tells him that their mother will always live in their hearts. Afterward, Kaya goes to her father and tells him that she is going to meet her friend Tessa, and she asks him to take care of Kit until she returns, reminding him not to forget Kit's insulin shot. Her father offers her some money, but she thanks him and says that she has enough. Kaya then gets into her car and drives to meet Tessa. Tessa tells her that they will meet two guys she met at a party the night before. Tessa offers Kaya some substances to make her feel happy, but Kaya refuses. Afterward, Kaya and Tessa go to meet Julian, Tessa's friend, who is accompanied by his friend Xander. Tessa introduces Kaya to Julian and he welcomes her. Julian suggests that they go on a jet ski trip to the island. Kaya hesitates at first, but Tessa pleads with her, telling her that she planned this trip as a surprise because she noticed that Kaya had become isolated for a long time since her mother's death and needed a change of scenery to relax. Tessa also assures her that the trip will be short and they will return before sunset. It becomes clear that Kaya cares about Tessa and cannot refuse her request. So she calls her brother Kit and tells him that she will be late returning home. When Kit finds out she's going on a jet ski trip, he asks her to take him with her, but Kaya promises him that she will take him next time. Afterward, Tessa rides on the jet ski behind Julian, and Kaya rides behind Xander, and they set off on their trip feeling very happy. When they arrive at the island, Julian sits with Tessa and talks about the trip they will take to Mexico, while Kaya sits with Xander. Xander tells her that he dreams of sailing around the world, and Kaya shares with him that she has been taking care of her brother Kit since their mother passed away. It is clear that there is a mutual attraction between Kaya and Xander. Later, everyone swims in the sea and enjoys watching the fish and coral reefs. They then take a tour on the jet skis around the island. At this point, Julian is driving at a very high speed, and because of the speed, he and Tessa overturn into the sea. At the same time, Xander is distracted by Kaya and suddenly finds himself crashing into Julian, causing everyone to fall into the water. Kaya starts searching for Tessa until she finds her discovering that Tessa is injured in her stomach. They start looking around for Xander and Julian. Suddenly, they see the jet skis sinking into the sea and then spot Xander floating on the surface of the water. They rush to him and find that he is seriously injured. They continue searching for Julian, calling out for him, but no one responds. In the end, they realize that Julian has died and his body has sunk into the sea. Kaya and Tessa scream as loud as they can for help. At that moment, Kaya spots a fishing boat in the distance. She starts shouting loudly to get the attention of the boat's captain to rescue them. The boat's captain, named Ray, sees them and approaches, successfully rescuing them. Everyone gets on board, and it becomes clear that Xander's injuries are severe. Ray calms them down and asks Kaya what happened. She tells him that they were in a jet ski accident, that their friend died and drowned in the sea, and she asks him to take them to a hospital and call for help. Ray agrees and goes to send a distress signal, but when he enters the control room, it becomes clear that he is thinking about something else, and he doesn't send for help. Instead, he watches them from the room. Afterward, Tessa goes to the bathroom and takes a long time. Kaya begins to worry and starts looking for her, noticing that the radio is not working. Ray appears, and Kaya asks him about Tessa, and he tells her that she is still in the bathroom. Kaya then asks if he has called for help, and he reassures her that he has. He tells her that they are lucky he found them, and adds that they wouldn't have survived long in the sea, because the area is dangerous, filled with sharks, and has strong currents that could have carried them far away. Kaya begins to suspect Ray, but she hides her suspicions and asks when they will leave for the shore. He responds that he will move in a few minutes. Suddenly, Ray attacks her and tries to overpower her. Kaya struggles to fight back, but she fails, and Ray knocks her unconscious. After some time, Kaya wakes up and finds herself locked in a room on the boat with Tessa beside her, also injured. When Tessa wakes up, she feels intense pain in her abdomen, and both of them are scared, not knowing what Ray is going to do with them. Kaya tries to climb the ladder to reach the hatch in the ceiling of the room, but she fails to open it. Kaya searches for another opening in the ceiling, but Tessa calls out to her. Tessa shows her a piece of wood in the room with a distress message written on it, indicating that someone else had been in the room before them, suggesting that Ray had kidnapped others before. At this moment, Tessa breaks down and starts crying, but Kaya approaches her and tries to calm her down. After a while, Tessa falls asleep from exhaustion, and by chance, Kaya finds something in the room, picks it up, and keeps it. After some time, Ray opens the door and throws them a box, tied with a rope containing food. Kaya asks him what he wants from them, but he doesn't answer. She tells Ray that Xander needs a doctor immediately, and to her surprise, Ray says that the doctor's on the way. Kaya tries to take advantage of the situation and asks Ray to let her go because she has a sick brother who needs care. She attempts to climb the ladder again, but Ray shouts at her, saying that she broke the rules, so he deprives them of food, pulls the box back, and closes the door. Kaya keeps banging on the door and calling out to Ray, but to no avail. A short while later, Kaya hears a strange sound. She moves closer to the wall of the room and realizes that the sound is coming from a boat approaching the ship. At that moment, Ray sees the approaching boat, and it becomes clear that the boat's owner is dropping anchor into the sea and boarding a smaller boat to reach Ray's ship. It turns out that this person is the doctor Ray was waiting for. The doctor climbs onto the deck and starts examining Xander, and Ray tells him that Xander was injured in a jet ski collision. Ray and the doctor then go down to the room where Kaya and Tessa are, and the doctor asks who is injured. Ray points to Tessa. The doctor approaches her and asks her what she's feeling, and she tells him she has pain in her abdomen. The doctor begins to examine her, and Tessa is scared and terrified, but Kaya reassures her and helps her relax. After examining her, the doctor tells her she has bruises on her ribcage. At that moment, Kaya focuses on the knife that Ray is holding, and Ray notices. He asks her if she wants the knife, but Kaya doesn't respond. Ray and the doctor then leave for the control room, and at that moment, the doctor hands Ray money, revealing that the doctor is involved in organ trafficking and human trafficking. The doctor tells Ray that Xander and Tessa aren't of much value to him, but Kaya is important because she will be sold at an auction to human trafficking gangs. Ray then ties Xander up on the deck, and the doctor comes to take his organs. Using a small saw, Kaya sees what's happening from the room door and starts screaming and banging on the door, devastated. She tells Tessa what's happening, and she too becomes horrified. Both Kaya and Tessa sit there, terrified and crying. Tessa apologizes to Kaya, saying it's all her fault, but Kaya hugs her and tells her it's not her fault. At that moment, Kaya notices rust on the bed across from them, realizing that someone before them had tried to scrape the rust off the ventilation opening in the ceiling. Kaya takes the sharp tool she had found earlier and starts scraping the rust around the vent, trying to open it to escape with Tessa. Meanwhile, Ray and the doctor throw Xander's body into the sea, then come down to the room, and Ray forcefully drags Tessa out. Kaya tries to stop him, but he hits her, knocking her unconscious. After some time, Kaya wakes up and rushes toward the ventilation opening. She keeps scraping at the rust around the opening until night falls, and she finally manages to open it, climbing out to the deck of the ship. At that moment, Ray exits the control room, carrying Tessa, tying her up on the deck so the doctor can take her organs. At this point, Kaya sneaks into the control room and tries to operate the radio to send a distress signal, but unfortunately, no one responds. Suddenly, Kaya hears Ray approaching the room, so she quickly hides in the engine room. It turns out that Ray was heading to the bathroom. When Kaya is sure there's no sound, she returns to the control room and starts searching for anything she can use to defend herself and her friend. At that moment, she finds a rifle with a dart. She takes it, exits the room, and points it at the doctor, telling him to step away from Tessa. The doctor, however, is not afraid of her and approaches her, so Kaya shoots the dart at him, hitting him in the chest. After that, Kaya ran toward Tessa to free her, but the doctor was still alive. He grabbed Kaya, threw her to the ground, and tried to strangle her. At that moment, Tessa managed to free herself, grabbed a scalpel, and started stabbing the doctor in the back until he died. Ray then emerged from the control room and was shocked to find the doctor's body on the ground. He looked around, trying to understand what had happened. When Ray saw the rifle on the floor, he realized that Kaya had escaped from the room, killed the doctor, and saved her friend Ray, quickly moved and took the boat that the doctor had used to reach the ship, so Kaya and Tessa wouldn't be able to use it to escape. He then brought out a flashlight and started searching for them until he saw them swimming toward the doctor's boat. Ray returned to the control room to start the engine and follow them, but he was surprised to find that all the fuel lines had been cut. At this moment, we discover that Kaya was the one who cut the fuel lines and that she refused to use the boat because the sound of the engine would attract Ray's attention. We switch to Kaya and Tessa, where Tessa's wearing a life jacket but is too exhausted to swim. Kaya encouraged her and asked her to hold on until they reached the boat. Kaya held Tessa's hand and tried to pull her, but Tessa told her that the current was too strong and asked her to leave her and swim toward the boat alone. At first, Kaya refused, but Tessa pushed her away and said she would wait for her. Kaya then continued swimming until she reached the boat. As soon as she got on board, she headed to the control cabin, turned on the transmitter, and sent out a distress signal. Kaya was overjoyed when the Coast Guard responded and she began telling them her story in detail. The Coast Guard asked her to try to activate the location device on the boat, but Kaya told them she didn't know how to operate the control panel in front of her. The officer asked her to search for a device used for location identification in emergency. Kaya searched until she found the device. The officer instructed her to throw the device into the sea, telling her that it would work automatically and send a signal as soon as it touched the water, allowing them to pinpoint her location and come to rescue her. Kaya left the cabin to throw the device into the sea, but heard a noise on the deck, which made her scared, so she quickly returned to the cabin. At this point, Ray appeared on the deck and started searching for Kaya. Kaya emerged from the cabin holding a flare gun in her hand. Suddenly, Ray appeared behind her. She tried to shoot him with the flare gun, but he moved faster and shot her in the abdomen. Kaya fell to the ground, and Ray sat next to her, watching her die in front of him. But Kaya fired a flare at him and she watched as he died in front of her. Afterward, Kaya took the location device and threw it into the sea. Immediately, the device activated and sent out the signal. When daylight broke the coast, Guard arrived at the ship and found Kaya lying on the ground unconscious. At the same time, the crew searched the sea for Tessa until they found her rescue helicopter. Then arrived, and Kaya and Tessa were transported to shore. The paramedics examined them and transported them to ambulance to take them to the hospital. At this moment, Tessa looked at Kaya, and it was clear she was thanking her for saving her life.